Hello, I'm Mate Joe, class of 2011. Today we're talking about marlin spike seamanship, which includes a series of functioning and non-functioning knots. That includes the bowline, the figure 8, the clove hitch, the Portuguese Sennit, and the monkey's fist. Okay, so this knot is going to be called a figure 8 knot, and it's primarily used as a stopper or a termination knot. It can be used in instances where we have this fraying whenever we cut any type of line, regardless of its material. They always end up with this fraying. A permanent solution to this with the appropriate type of line would be a back splice, where we unravel the line and tuck the strands within itself to prevent this fraying. In this type of line, we'll do a figure 8 knot to temporarily prevent this fraying. This one, we're going to simply bring this on a bite like so, bring it over itself and back through, creating this figure 8 pattern and pulling it tight. You could go and cut this end so it's a little nicer to look at, and if needed later, this can be removed by pushing these together like so. Okay, so this knot is called the Bowline knot. This is traditionally used to temporarily create an eye at the end of our working line, whether that's for securing cargo or lifting cargo on or off of the ship. We'll take our dominant hand and put the tail end of our line in our dominant hand with our standing part in this direction. I'm going to take my dominant hand over and create this bite with this side coming over this standing part. Then I'm going to use what's left to create the body of my eye. That's going to go through that eye that we created, under this piece of line and back through that eye. Pull it tight, and we have our temporary eye at the end of our working line. This can easily be dismantled when we no longer need the eye in the line, and we end with a working piece of line again. Okay, so this is a clove hitch. This is another means of temporarily securing a line, but in this instance, we're securing it to a rail. This is commonly found in storage spaces whenever we're storing lines that have been coiled up on bulkheads or walls, as we call them on board ships. This can be easily put up in a matter of seconds, and more importantly, it can be easily taken down. So we have our railing system here, and our coiled piece of line, whether that is a heaving line or an electrical cord. We can go over the rail, just as you would. Then I'm going to go over again, over the initial piece of line and back through, creating this cinch, and that will secure the line temporarily so that this line
all weather decks are secured until further notice.
Can be taken off later.
Until further notice.
And when it's time to remove, no matter how much tension has been put on it, we can easily dismantle the knot. The next one is a variation of the clove hitch, which can be more easily dismantled when needed. with just an added step. Again, I'm going to go over the rail that I'm securing my equipment to, and then back over the rail along with the initial lay. I'm going to create a bite on this. The primary difference between this and the clove hitch is when I am ready to dismantle this, all I need to do is pull on this and this comes loose. So this knot is a Portuguese Sennit. This is a purely decorative knot that certainly has its place on a lot of shipboard equipment. This could be used as a pull tag or as something as simple as a bracelet commonly found for survival gear. So I will use my key ring and run it through my paracord at the midway point. From there, I'm going to take up about how long I wish this to be. Let's say about 5 inches. And I'm going to tie an overhand knot, just as we do when we tie our shoes. From there, I've got my 2 ends on the left and right side, and I'm going to be tying overhand knots all the way down the length of this chain. So from here, I'll place one end, this left end, over the 2 strands of the body to match up with the side on the right. From here, I will bring that right side under and back over my 2 strands and through that loop that was created. From there, pull them tight. And now I'm going to do the same process, but alternating which side is first. So now I'm going to go right to left. Now I'm going to go right to left, under my 2 strands. This one's going under this one, over and under. Now to the left. Under, alternating, and you can see my sennit starting to form. Once we get to the end, there are several ways of terminating this knot. A common way is a touch of super glue on either side and cut the ends. An alternate way would be cutting them and heating them with some fire. This is called the Lanyard Knot. You can use this for several reasons. Commonly used as like a zipper pull or some other decorative means of securing a line. I will take about a 12-inch piece of line. I can use my keyring clip. I'll run this through to the middle of my line. From there, I'll pick everything up, and I'm going to put this behind my hand, more or less, and I can pull it tight. From here, I will bring my right hand side, or the bottom side of this, over and around. Under, over, under, over. So I'll end up with this, with my clip on the back side of my hand. Depending on how much you want on this side will dictate how much you have loose back here. I will pull everything tighter so that my lanyard knot is a little closer to my clip. From here, I'm going to follow the natural curvature, the direction in which this line is going in this direction, and bring this bitter end under and through the center and through. This one is naturally going in this direction, so I'll follow that direction, going in and back out through the center, right next to the other one. It's kind of a mess now. At this point, we can flip it up, right side up, and start to pull everything tight. Could go so far as to doing a second and third one if you have enough line left. You have 2 lanyard knots with my clip. Cut these shorter. Nice tag for a keychain or a zipper pull. So this is a Carrick Bend Mat, another decorative bend commonly used as coasters or if you have enough line and big enough line, can be easily put as a doormat. This is one of the simpler types of bend. It starts off with your common Carrick Bend functional knot that then goes into more decorative one-dimensional place knot. So I'll have about the midway point of my line. I'm going to take my dominant hand over this other line. From there, I will take this tag end and go over, creating this pretzel shape. Then with that same line, I'm going to go under this line, over, under, and over, under. From here, we've got a Carrick bend on a bite. Get everything nice and symmetrical. From here, I will take either of this left or right hand side. I'll use the left hand side, going across to create the counter to this upper bend. And I will go on the inside of this line, following it around, making 2 to 3 passes all the way around. Get that symmetrical with our upper most. This one will follow this one all the way around. So that's a 2-pass Carrick Bend knot. We could take this other side that we didn't use and follow on the outside all the way around for a 3rd pass. once you get your third pass, make sure everything is nice and symmetrical. On the back side, you'll have this starting point and this starting point. We can cut, super glue, and cut and super glue. This is a monkey's fist, commonly referred to as a heaving line knot, traditionally used on one end of a line to have some weight on it so it could be passed to between 2 points of interest, typically the deck of a ship to the dock or a pier, so that we can pass much larger mooring lines with. I say traditionally because this isn't typically seen in practice anymore. It is normally purely decorative, and that's what's included in this packet. A marble, so that it may be loaded and tied against something, and a key ring. So I'll put the key ring and marble aside. I've got about 5 to 6 feet of line here. I'm going to find the middle of the line, and on my left hand, I'm going to choke down a little bit, leaving a majority of the line towards the right-hand side. My right-hand side will be my working side. This is where all of those passes will be occurring at. So with this right here, I'm going to use my index, middle, and ring finger as my primary working backing. So with my shorter end over here through my left hand and my longer end on my right side, I'm going to start this by making 3 consecutive wraps right next to each other. 1, 2, 3. So in this case, we've got 3 on this side and 3 on this side. From here, I'm going to take this side, which is essentially making the beginning of a 4th turn, but instead of going up, I will go this direction and feed this through my ring and middle finger, and making these turns around those initial 3 loops. Doesn't have to be tight at this step. We still need to feed our marble inside, and I'll make the same 3 passes, making sure they all lie right next to one another nice and neatly. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. From there, I'll take this, again, my working end, kind of move my finger out through the top so that I have a place to pass that same end through. Again, making sure everything is lying right next to the previous pass. Now where my other finger was, I can remove that. Coming up. And 1, 2, 3 passes. Again, don't make it too tight. Now we need to make some space to pass our marble within the body of this monkey's fist. Once that's secured within there, I'm then going to take my ends and start slowly pulling everything tight. Start at this point, going around, pushing this one through. Making sure everything is laying where we initially set it.